am the Maniacal Dr. Watson. Welcome back to Sunless Skies. Last time we made our way to Carillion. And oh boy, I think I know a little bit about this place. So, this peaceful Carmine institution was founded by devils from London and dedicated to the betterment of the soul. Um, Bothridge Bothridge's A Tour of Heaven describes it as a cross between a spa, a sanatorium, and purgatory. She commends its bracing airs. Interesting set of descriptions. So we can either enter the foyer or travel around. Um, let's travel around Carillion. Carillion is broken into terraces where most of the soul treatments take place. Try to explore Carillion. Others seem to be coming and going as they please. Maybe that won't be true for us. Before you can take the first step towards one of the terraces, a devil blocks your way. Not yet, I'm afraid. You must have permission from the presiding deviless. Some of our procedures are exceedingly delicate. We need to be certain you comprehend what you're seeing. What the heck? That's weird. He turns you in the direction of the center of Carillion. I'm sure she'll make time to see you. I wonder if I'm hearing things. It is raining right now outside. Green stone, the color of a monastery, attending devils and devilesses dressed in uniform, an incoming parade of the sick, the friendless, the dying, and those who think their lives would be better if only they were something else. This is Carillion, where souls are refined to something more impressive. I think we need to write a port report. So I'm guessing, yeah, we're in the foyer now. Visit the isolated office of an abstemious devil. Apparently we need affiliation with the establishment. Let's first write a port report. The penitents come from all corners of the high wilderness. Someone will want to hear of their comings and goings. You take some notes on a pilgrim's journey through Carillion. The first port of call is the beehive-shaped office in the center, or more accurately, the long queue leading into it. From there, the vernal attendants direct them to one of Carillion's 7 gardens to undergo penances. They certainly look penitent by the time they emerge. Presumably their souls are much improved, not that you can tell. So let's go speak to the presiding deviless. She's an artisan of souls. Perhaps she can do something with yours. Perhaps she'll just offer you advice. Led between the wickerworks. The presiding deviless works in an office shaped like a beehive, a stone and wickerwork building that stands all alone in the middle of Carillion's central courtyard. She conducts intake interviews with new patients one by one. After a long time in line, you reach her at last. Greetings, Professor. How may we stretch, strain, purify, and strengthen you now you've come to Carillion? Her apron is starched, her dress pinstriped. There is a stack of patient files on her desk, color-coded. The corners of her mouth say she knows something to your disadvantage. So we can ask about Carillion. Purchase an indulgence. All the other types of penance are slow and more difficult. Ooh, we actually need undistinguished souls to do that. We can return to the center of Carillion. Apparently, we can also buy them in bulk. Ooh. Provide exquisite insight. Such a dedicated user of Carillion. Can you help her devise some new horrors for the minds of the unworthy? Interesting. Penance, penance, penance. Okay, these are all penance. Penances. Hmm. I wonder what exactly this does. Let's ask her about Carillion. She must be used to explaining to newcomers and to those whose memories are unattuned by pain. 7 gardens for 7 sins. We do whatever is necessary to reclaim unsatisfactory souls, she says. She sits back in her chair, and you can imagine her making just such a pitch to the princes of hell. For humans primarily, though we do attend to other creatures elsewhere on the Great Chain, they come to us with souls that are stained, disused, in every kind of sordid condition, and we make them acceptable again. Most of those who come to us are volunteers. The rest are beyond the position of being able to volunteer, consigned to Carillion by their families or employers. Interesting. And after a stay at Carillion, what then? One should not enter if one does not know how to leave. Most people go home again, she says. Some find that they are wary of their souls and pass them on to us. We operate on that slender profit and on what we can get from donations or from sales of penance and forgiveness. She looks at the blank page before her. What about you? You look sturdy enough to make full use of our services. Are you afraid of needles? What is your view of worms? Which do you fear more, venoms or poisons? She takes down a page or two on all your least favorite things. We can listen to a proposal and gain access to the terraces of Carillion. Well, that seems good enough. Listen, she says, you are free to make use of Carillion. Take a penance or two. Alter your soul. I think you'll find our services very imaginative. There's another matter I hope you will look into. A devil is in rose-colored gloves. He used to supervise the Gaslight Terrace. He was removed from that position by fear that he may still not be entirely aligned with the objectives of Carillion. If you find out anything about him, anything to his disadvantage, she looks grim. Bring me the evidence, and I will reward you. Interesting. So she wants us to help her out with a ne'er-do-well. Let's return to the center of Carillion. I'm curious about the other thing. Come back if you have any other questions, says the deviless. She has already opened the next file on her desk. Okay. So we'll go back to Carillion Center. I am curious. Interesting that we can actually supply those. Oh, this is interesting. Apparently we can get nostalgic crockery from here if we have affiliation with the establishment. Hopefully that rain isn't too loud. Greymory's? Greymory's tiny shop sells, so mostly just supplies. Well, we can use a single supply, but we can actually buy gourds of chorister nectar from here. Let's travel around Carillion. So we can visit the Gaslight Terrace, the Bell Garden. Ooh. What is this? What is that? You need stained. Oh, interesting. You need clear. The fact that we have this one makes me curious. The path is a mirrored labyrinth. Entry is forbidden to those who are not already afflicted with a flickering soul. No one else in the passage to the terrace will admit that they know where they're going. What a curious figure, says an old man, pointing at his own reflection. Here's hoping there aren't any other clowns of that nature where we're going, eh? He jabs you in the rib with his elbow. You can fail to see our reflection anywhere, regard your reflection with distaste, or we can admire your reflection, which is handsomer than usual. I think I'm gonna go with this one. Well, I don't know if there's a right answer to this. I only like this one because it smoothed out your features, made you ordinary. You turn your head away. There's the same reflection ahead of you, though. Now a whole group of them. So many false yous that you could crew a battleship. Oh. Stand in front of one of the statues and it will melt into your pose. It will look you in the eye. Its face will be your face, minus a few marks of character. It will still be transparent. Gain a penance of inscrutable truth. The excessively malleable and those who do not know themselves at all. We can approach the grim penitent. He seems oblivious to your presence. Or we can return. Okay. Oh, we have very low mirrors. I'm curious about the grim penitent. The man is slim and there are circles under his eyes. The man is... Interesting that I have to click that one twice. Through the glass, he lifts his eyes when you seat yourself. It takes time to get him to speak. He finds the effort of conversation very hard going. For the first few exchanges, he confines himself to the weather at Carillion. Finally tells you why he is here. Too many years I lived on the other side of a mirror, he says, so long that I forgot everything but that place and its ways, where is and is not change places. I took a companion and endured his not love. It took me a long time to recognize it for what it was. This probably means something to somebody, but not to me. We are assisting a penitent who had a little too much contact with the Finger Kings. Ho ho, the King of Fingers. Okay, so we don't seem to be able to help him. Let's let him be then. Let's try this once. It's a 15 chance of success. Do we get anything on a failure? Terror. Okay, so we can't spam it. Impossible. Gentleman has forgotten achieving several important inventions. Blinks in confusion at the diploma on the wall. To cure these defects of character, he is chained to a chair with a practitioner of the psychological arts who keeps asking questions about hidden desires and buried traumas. As for your punishment, it does not bear speaking of. For a month afterward, you see devils dancing in the corners of your eyes. Okay. Let's return to the center of Carillion. Accompanied, there are a few others leaving Carillion at the same time. A gentleman walks beside you, looking rather depressed. Can we talk to him? No. So this is the one we just went to. This is the other one I'm curious about. I think this might be... This is probably what the deviless wanted us to look into, so try to enter the Bell Garden. The ascent is rocky. The sound of chimes is audible all the way down here. Deprivation can be gained here? Gained? Turn back. You put your foot on the first step and the devil blocks you. Those who enter the Bell Garden must be in a proper state of hygiene, Professor, he says. Wouldn't want to make things worse for the poor sufferers. He washes his hands in the fountain. Stopping you must have been grubby work. For impurity. Interesting that it spat us out here. Oh. We have a 37% chance to perform the ritual of purification to enable entrance to the Bell Garden. Let's not... I think we need more mirrors. Clearly, we need more mirrors. So visit the Gaslight Terrace. Dozens of newcomers walk in that direction. It must be a safe choice. Enlightenment can be gained here. In a flow of ordinary folk. Your companions are a lady in a buttoned cloak and a young male student. They talk among themselves about this seasonable warmth and about how the yellowish glow of the lamps does not show blue silk to best effect. Their words are commonplace, their hands folded and gloved, their opinions supplied by a respectable gazette. You have almost forgotten them even while you are still walking together. The path descends by shallow steps to a broad terrace, as crowded as an imperial exhibition. So again, mirrors. We have a better chance at this one. We can approach the spineless curate. He sits in stocks, attended by a devilish orderly. Aren't they all devilish here? Or cure your lightless soul. Need penance. Need lightless. Let's talk to the spineless curate. So at the nearest station, a curate has been shackled into an ordinary pillory. Don't know exactly what those things are. His eyes beseech you to visit him. I've seen something in this light. It's hard not to see things. The devilish orderly jabs the curate with a needle. At the sight of the jab, the curate's skin goes lavender. I'm being treated for not believing in God. I've tried everything. Prayer, fasting, long weekends by a professional saint. None of it worked. My sermons were suffering. My bishop complained. And has it helped? I have dreams of snakes and angels, he says. It hasn't made me a mystic. I don't think the devils are real either. Just men with funny eyes, aren't they? The devilish orderly smiles with extra teeth. Like he inserted them into his mouth, extra teeth? Or like it's just a little bit too wide? Apparently he needs freeing. We can pay their price. Shift of perspective. We need to be enlightened, though. Alternative currency. Interesting. Let's leave him to his penance. Let's try to gain a penance of enlightenment. Visions, imagination, the ability to see beyond the nearest convention. That's what the devils are trying to evoke here. Success! Oh. Penance paid. A man in naval uniform is prone to gluttony without enjoyment. Until the penitent recovers from his inclination, he is eating a preparation of giggling mandrake. It is hilarious when bitten. Do you feel any more interesting now? Asked the supervising devil. As for your punishment, it does not bear speaking of. For a month afterward, you see devils dancing in the corners of your eyes. I don't know if they're really helping people here. So now we would need to be lightless. Interesting. No heads turn. You brush past a matron in gray boots, a train conductor in his uniform, and a young boy who has already adopted an expression of fixed ennui. Ennui? None of them notice as you pass by. None shows any interest in your breaking this convention. So we've now been enlightened. Let's visit So this one also has the 37% chance. Let's check out the checkerboard garden, spelled interestingly, I will say. I didn't read this part. Carillion is... It is reached by a flight of wrong-sized steps, the risers too steep and the flats too narrow. But by the time you come out onto the plane of checkerboard, your calves are hurting. Oh, it's not a long journey. Oh, this is extremely interesting. There's a rubbery man here. Okay, so I don't know if the game is going to talk about them, but they were in Sunless Sea, and they are effectively squid people. So let's talk to the rubbery man. He stands at the edge of the board, ignored by the players. Although, also, the devils are playing tricolor chess with some of the penitents. White pieces, red pieces, pieces the color of a flourishing wind. Around the edges of the board sit the patients who have already been captured or who were never part of the game to begin with. No one has dressed him for the chess game or let him enter the board. We can speak with the rubbery man. He stands off to one side, tentacles squirming. Writhing introductions. He is surprised that you approach him. He moves to make room for you in case you are merely trying to occupy his space. When you speak to him, he offers you a squishy handshake. By various signals, gestures, and directions of his eyes, he indicates that he has come here looking for his place in the world. Ooh. We can ask the rubbery man about the devil with the rose-colored gloves, and then hope you can understand the answer. If we had... Okay, so if we get shift in perspective, we can redeem this man. Let's ask about the devil with the rose-colored gloves. The rubbery man holds up one tentacle representing the devil with the rose-colored gloves. Then he holds up another tentacle. After a moment, he twists the two together. Are the tentacles meant to be kissing? Is that what that is? When you look blank, the rubbery man repeats the pantomime several times. Perhaps the devil has a lover. Perhaps the devil loves the rubbery man. I don't know why. I find that funny. Perhaps the devil enjoys exotic forms of dance. Okay, interesting. So, we didn't get much from that. Other than possibly he might be in love with Tentacle Boy. Those who name drop, who aim too high, who spend too much time in low company, who do not know their place, they wind up here. Ah, success. All you have to do is wait. The flourishing queen uses the French expressions literally in conversation. The devils disapprove. To repair these defects, she is doing vigorous exercises in a sweaty room. The supervising devil is distracted by the play on the chessboard. As for your punishment, it does not bear speaking of. For a month afterward, we see devils dancing in the corners of our eyes. We're seeing a lot of devils in the corner of our eyes. Let's go back to the rubbery man. So we can elevate the rubbery man. Interesting. Okay, so this one requires a combination. This requires multiple levels of penance. Now, I want to quickly go back. I don't think that has changed, so you can just keep doing it. Since we already have these two, they weren't too hard to get, let's try the elevation of a rubbery man. What would such a person need? Perhaps understanding cut with ambition. Transferred. Enlightenment for a start. Conversation conversion for a chaser. He consumes both. Tentacles are involved in the twitching of excessively mobile. Would one call those lips? But then, what a transformation! His features smooth and flatten, his tentacles retract. From a distance, one might take him for a human gentleman with an especially prominent brow. He assesses you, then, no thanks, no comment, not even the wave of a tentacle. What an ingrate! He takes up someone's freshly discarded crozier. As a bishop, he joins the game and play. Is he no longer a rubbery man? I'm slightly confused. He still has tentacles, though. Oh, we lost both of our pennants. Interesting. We need pennants, and we would need to be curdled. Shouts behind you. The white king is captured just as you go, but there's no time to look back at the match in progress. Let's let's visit the stunted grove. A half-height grove of blackthorn bushes. Ordeal can be gained here. There's no real gate. But not much of a wall either. There's only a low stone barrier, perhaps a foot tall, easy to step over. The thorn bushes grow thorns an inch or more long. There are paths between them, but it is hard to pass by without tearing one's clothes. Ooh la la. The devils who work here have scratches on their forearms, though. They do not seem to mind. There's not a single comfortable place to sit. So this one requires iron. I think? Yeah. We're going to approach the professional penitent. She is seated on a stool eating vast quantities of sorbet. So what we've learned so far is that for most of these, if doing this is what will most likely get you access to continue. So, ooh, okay. And so we gain 5 terror. A fast-talking debutante neither weeps nor feels urgent. Until she overcomes these flaws, she is being forced to copy out the obituaries of departed wives and beloved husbands. And again, our punishment isn't worth speaking of. So let's quickly speak with her. She collects penance for other people. It's a slow process, but the quality is better than the indulgences penance one may buy from the presiding deviless. Quantities of sorbet. The penitent is seated on a stool, eating from an enormous barrel of violet sorbet. There's enough to supply a carnival. Maybe Palmer's and Plenty's needs it then. The penitent's lips are blue, her fingers are sticky, there are purple smears on her frock. Wasps are taking interest in the sight of her face. When you come over, she puts down her spoon long enough to greet you. I'm here on behalf of a viscountess who doesn't love her children. She's waiting back in London for me to deliver her penance. Pointedly, the supervising devil sets another long-handled spoon at her elbow. We can ask them about the devil with the rose-colored gloves. We can leave them alone if we had 5 ordeal, or if we had deprivation and ordeal. We could help her out. Let's see if she knows something about the devil with the rose-colored gloves. Oh yes, she smiles reminiscently when you describe the devil in question. I know him, she says. I've been coming here a long time in my line of work. He used to be very highly placed, you know, and then the presiding deviless caught him pinching supplies from the storehouse and gave him a demotion. Now he performs a few of the lesser punishments, some lightweight pitchforking, a little work with a hot poker. But his heart isn't in it. Devils don't stick long at anything. Interesting. So we got a little bit more information. We failed at this. Let's continue to explore. The wall is lower from this side. It's even easier to leave than to enter because the ground is uneven. I don't know if that's meant to mean something in particular. Stained and clear. Um, let's try to get into. Let's try the ritual purification. We succeeded. First, remove your shoes. Wash your face from the fountain of fresh water and your feet in the basin of salt water. Walk across a patch of white sand, throwing a pebble over your left shoulder to baffle any ill omened thing that might be following you. Then sleep in a hammock on a private balcony where only other patients may enter. When you wake up, eat a plain white bread with a salt crust. After all this, you will be ready. Okay. So we can visit the terrace. No, now we can visit the Bell Garden. Okay. They'll actually let us in. The stairs lead up to the highest and coldest point in Carillion. The bells ring louder as you climb. The music is mathematical and exact. Each note sounds for exactly the same length of time, the same duration that is required to ascend one step. No one passes anyone else on these stairs. In a tower over the Bell Garden, 12 devils ring a change of 12 bells. The full peal will take 11,000 days to complete without intermission. From time to time, one devil relieves another, stepping in during the half minute when the particular bell is at rest. There are no errors. This is mathematical music that can be heard everywhere in Carillion, but it is loudest here. Impurity and imprecision are not welcome. Let's try to gain the penance of deprivation. Um, Austerity, absence, and lack. These are the devil recommended treatments for those who live within the sound of the bells. And we only have a 45% chance success on our highest value thing. Why can't I remember what that would be called? Whatever. It's the thing that we have the highest success chance on the thing that we're best at doing. We succeed, thankfully. A student of parasitical diseases wore unchanging socks of advanced. Hold on. This sentence just completely broke my brain. A student. Blah. A student of parasitical diseases wore unchanging socks of advanced putrefaction. Until the penitent recovers from this inclination, he must go without water, tea, or beer. I trust you, see, remarks the supervising deviless. Wise self-restraint is needed. Then our punishment apparently doesn't need to be spoken of. So let's approach the penitent nurse. She huddles in the corner, her face trapped in a grimace. So we can, she's huddled in a corner with cotton stuffed into her ears. Attempt to communicate with her. It's too loud to speak, certainly. You communicate in writing. She has been within the sound of the bells for 40 days. The clangor is starting to disrupt her mind. She begs you will help her, and out of your kindness, pay part of her penance for her. She would do the same for you. She is a very kind and forgiving soul. To convenience you of this point, she scribbles down assurances, compliments, and a sketch of herself ministering to a leprous child. Okay. So if we had 5 levels of it, or if we also had ordeal. If it doesn't come with strength. Let's ask about the devil with rose-colored gloves. Has he passed this way? Does he like bell music? She shakes her head in distress. The words she scribbles are for you are, if you can read her writing, seen this kind before, had them in hospitals sometimes. You can't get anything clearer out of her. Okay, so it kind of frazzled her. Let's try to gain multiple levels of this. So 45. Did it again. A surgeon of dentistry used to keep a colony of rats for companionships and entertainment. As punishment, he must go without water, tea, or beer. Light, air, fire, and self-control are the enemies of pestilence, says the supervising deviless in a sing-song voice. Our punishment isn't worth speaking of. Let me try to get one more. I should have read that one. Success. One more time. A lawyer specializing in matters of divorce swears frequently and in multiple languages, regardless of present company. Until the penitent recovers from this inclination, she is forced to stand for hours at a time under a dripping pipe. The drips correspond with the ringing of the second bell. The penitent looks grim. Ours isn't worth speaking of. Oh, we can cure our fermented soul. Perhaps you have eaten that which you should not. Perhaps you've come in contact with something unclean. At any rate, your soul has gone a bit off. So this we got from that random homestead. So luckily it seems like it's easy enough to get rid of. I'm actually going to do this. Flat and clear. Your soul is nearly as good. Is nearly in good condition now. Improvement soul. They describe yours as a tantalizingly opaque and rich with personality. We gain more visions of heavens, which I do think we need, and we gain more experience. So let's return. 12 changes of 12 bells before you reach the bottom again. No one else is on the staircase. The penitents look up curiously when you arrive back in the center of Carillion. We will need to redo the purifications if we wish to enter again. Got you. So we weren't very successful here. We apparently need to be stained and clear for 2 more of these. We've gained enlightenment. We could gain again. Perhaps not for the moment. And I think... So the only other thing I can think about is buying those things from the deviless. I don't really want to do them. Let's do it. Let's just do it. Usually I don't do stuff like this. Purchase an indulgence. I'm very curious. So I'm wondering, okay, so I'm wondering if this is like an indulgence from the Catholic faith? Or old Catholic faith? I don't think you can buy them anymore. Reasonable prices. She copies out the writ of indulgences on a calfskin and daubs its corners with oil. Afterwards, she attaches her own signature and the seal of presiding authority of Carillion. It's not quite the same as penance served yourself, she admits, but it may be used in many of the same situations. If it proves not to meet with your requirements, then simply remember that you should not have been allowed to buy it in the first place, but you're the one selling it to me. What? Okay, so we can buy... Is it specifically indulgence that we can buy? I wonder if it's like particularly difficult to get. Oh. So if we go through all of them, bring them all here, we can provide insight. I'm almost tempted to just go. Well, we can't do 2 of them. Yeah, we can't do 2 of them currently. So that's something that we should try. I wonder what, like... I wonder what the benefit of doing this is. Like, why is that there from a game perspective? I do find it curious. I think, though... Hello? let's return to the center of Carillion. I think with that, yeah, I think that's going to be that's going to end our time here in Carillion. So next time we will continue to explore down here in this bottom left corner. We're still looking for Lustrum. That's the thing we're currently looking for. But with that, that's the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel. And if you like this particular video, leave a like. I think you got to hit the bell thing for notifications. With that, goodbye.